Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. It's Thursday night, so you know what that means. We're about to draft us an underdog team. And I have the pleasure of welcoming our newest addition to the staff, JD Yonke. And I've had the pleasure of drafting with this guy in CFF and several best balls lately. And I can just tell you, this guy knows what he's doing. You want to listen to him. He's got a football IQ that it's going to be big time when CFF hits it big. So, JD, welcome. And, I'm really excited that you're a part of the team now.
Yeah, I can't wait. Fantasy Points does some great stuff as a company, and building up this college football package, I think is it's going to be an excellent year one. I know you guys did great work last year and with the bowl guide, but this package, I'm really looking forward to contributing. We'll see how this best ball draft here goes. I think I'm going to learn some stuff from you, so I'm anxious to listen to you. But it's not a college best ball, but glad to be on board. I'm really excited about it. So.
Speaking of college best ball, I noticed a little something on Twitter that Underdog has an Underdog college football account, and I'm just saying right now, if they're going to put out some best ball for college football, I'm going to be investing some cash, and I'm sure that you are as well. Correct?
If they actually did open it up, I would probably go. I'm not usually one who like maxes out the milli makers and stuff. I mean, I don't see how it would be financially irresponsible to not max out. I would have to take advantage of that. So fingers crossed that would be something else.
Oh, I was just passing along to the team how I would just be beside myself. Okay, so let's not waste any time here. Let's get into the Best Ball Mania 3 here, and then right after we get into the league that we're going to draft out of, I'll let you go over the promo codes for us. Okay, does that sound good to you? So let's click on it. Make sure that we click on the 30 seconds per pick here. We don't want to get into the 8 hours per pick, and then I'll count down. Are you ready for that, JD?
Yep.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter. Yes.
Boom. All right. Let's see if we got each other.
All right. Does it say waiting for 9 people? Waiting for 7 people?
Yeah.
Waiting for 6? Okay, good deal.
Yeah, boom.
All right, so I'm just going to break this to you, JD, and I know you don't have a lot of experience on Underdog, but that's okay because we're really here to promote the college football product tonight, and you're our guy. So I'm gonna pass it over to you so we can get some promo codes out.
Yeah, today's actually the last day to use this promo code, so go ahead and get it in now because the college football page is up. The content is coming. We got some great stuff. I know Wes's rankings are out. We've had you guys just covered the Big Ten about as well as you can possibly cover something. So you're going to want to get in on it. It's the last day. It's promo code CFB22, and that gets you 30% off our college football package. So go ahead and get in on that. It's going to be great. I know I'm really looking forward to covering the props. We're going to have the DFS covered for you again, as well as you can cover it. It's going to be a great year. I don't see how it cannot be. So go ahead and get in on that one last time. That's CFB22, 30% off.
Good deal. And if you don't mind, I would love it if you just, if you went over the promo for us for the reason that we're here, because we have a partnership with Underdog.
Yeah, absolutely. Underdog Fantasy, new users use the promo code Fantasy Points. That's PTS for points. Fantasy Points, PTS, Fantasy PTS. That gets you up to $100 in bonus cash on your first deposit. So if you're sitting there consuming this best ball content and you cannot wait for the year to begin, and you are drafting best ball after best ball, or whatever your gig is, Underdog is the place to do it. So go ahead and get on. That's all caps, Fantasy Points, PTS, up to $100 instant deposit match.
Absolutely, and I did that myself, and I'm still eating away at my entry. I've got a lot of cash in here that I want to eat up. So I'd like to add some more, and I'm going to. I usually keep around like 5 of the drafts going in the background for the 8-hour picks. You can do that with the 30 seconds per pick. So I have a few drafts that I'm just like, wow, this is going so slow. All right, so we just got in because and this is different. So they just had a super flex going on, but this one is the $25 30-second per pick, and this is great. I love this. I love how they mix it up at Underdog, and I'm just telling you, Underdog guys, get that college football best ball product out there.
Do it.
You'll get a lot of money from at least the industry guys. I can promise you that, because all we have like multiple best ball drafts going on at the same time, because I mean, we're just looking, not only are we looking to win some cash, we're also looking to collect some ADP values so we can see what the other industry guys are doing. You've got to do this. Get the college football best ball product out there. It's going to be a hit. And I think college football is just such an untapped resource. People across America, they love their football. All right, we're underway here. All right, and I do want to tell you here, JD, we are half PPR, so not full. I am picking 7th. Let's see where you're 2 picks behind me. Okay.
I'm 9th. Okay. Yeah.
Good deal. And yeah. So basically what I try to do is running back. It gets pretty thinned out pretty quickly. So, it's a half PPR, but at the same time, I feel like in the first round, what I try to do is I want to get a good running back. That way I can build around him. So if I want to go, wide receiver heavy after that, that's okay. And a guy that I like here, and they're finally moving into a 21st century offense, is Dalvin Cook, because Minnesota, they've been in the dark ages for far too long. Love me some Dalvin Cook here at 1.7. And, you really have a lot of options here because, at the 9th pick, there's so many things you can do. And it's really, I mean, it's hard to go wrong. I just will say this, so JD is more of a college football guy. I do want to throw that out there. Wait on your quarterbacks. All I'm going to say. Plenty of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I ended up going with Stephon Diggs, wide receiver. I probably would have taken Austin Eckler if he was there for me, but he went right in between you and me. So
yeah.
Slightly different. I know Devontae Adams is there. I'm a Raiders fan. I see him going real high, but I don't know. I guess I don't want to be a homer.
I was kind of hoping that we had the option to go with the super flex that they have out, because I saw a lot of players falling that shouldn't have been falling. And one of those was Devontae Adams. He was falling because people are so worried about getting their first 2 quarterbacks. And so I was doing a ton of drafts with the super flex, and I was having a lot of fun with it because I was building some stud lineups because of all these guys falling further than they should.
Super flex makes people go crazy, man.
It does, doesn't it? It really does.
It's like a need.
Yeah, you throw one little, some little part of strategy into the equation, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, I have to change everything I'm doing."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Hold up, you're seriously gonna let me grab?" I was getting like second QB. I was getting Derek Carr, and then 4th pick, third, late or early 4th, I was getting Devontae Adams, and I'm like, "What in that?" I can't believe this.
Yeah, you're never gonna hate on that.
Yeah,
I don't care about the format. You can never hate on that.
All right, I love the Mark Andrews pick, by the way.
Yeah, it leaves me without a running back, so that's going to be obviously the spell for my team. You already have a stud running back. You gonna get another one? What are you doing?
No, I mean it's hard. Definitely don't want QB there. I'm gonna go wide receiver. I think that's what I'm gonna do here, and the guy I'm gonna go with is some Debo. I think he doesn't want to run as much this year, and I'm okay with that because his big fantasy numbers came when he was more of a pure receiver. A lot of his stuff is underneath because he's such a yak guy, and he doesn't need the quarterback to create offense for him. and it's looking more and more like it's going to be the Trey Lance show. And he's got a big arm. He's got a powerful arm. So don't get me wrong, but at the same time, he's going to need an underneath security blanket, because George Kittle's not really, he's not a guy that eats up those check downs. He's a guy that likes to go, 15 to 20 yards on his routes, and they do a lot of crossers for San Francisco, and so it's a situation where Debo is going to be underneath for Trey Lance to drop that down.
Shanahan's a smart guy. He knows how to Kittle. He knows if he's got a mismatch, he's going to send him a little deeper downfield. Whereas Debo, you get him the ball anywhere on the field, and he's
anywhere.
He's
Yeah. And they really tried to maximize that by just, handing the ball off to him. But it's just not good for his long-term career. It's just too much wear and tear. But, we were talking prior to the broadcast, we were talking about, college football. So right now, if Fantrax were to go under, all of CFF would go under with it. We would be dropped back to the dark ages, and we'd have to draft our CFF rosters on message boards, and that's probably before your time.
Yeah,
JD, and it was fun because it was almost like doing something naughty, because we weren't allowed to use college football players. We had our the PlayStation college football game taken away from us, and that hurt, and then but at the same time it was, and that's where Debbie got its start. But so we're kind of tossing some ideas against the wall about what can we do, who can we partner with to get something, because Fantrax is a Canadian company, and I appreciate you, Fantrax, don't get me wrong, because without you we don't have CFF, but it's a situation where there's just too much opportunity right now. There's a lot of group of 5 players that don't have any NIL dollars. I'm talking zero. There are $0 going to these group of 5 teams. And that's an issue, because these players, they want to make money. And how else, what is a better way of making money than putting all these players' faces in front of the fanatical fantasy crowd, right, JD?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of the Maction midweek. I mean, I know I love watching that, but I don't know how many people are sitting down watching it for the the purity of the football. There's a lot of DraftKings lineups out there people are watching. There's a lot of CFF, a lot of people monitoring their Devi guys. I mean, that's where the interest draws. So I don't know exactly what it would look like, but some sort of partnership opening up, especially in this era of NIL. I think it just takes a brave first adapter really to make that their thing. And I think it could be pretty lucrative, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. It's an opportunity for the players to make more money. It's an opportunity for the conferences to make more money, and it's an opportunity for the platform to make more money. And that's why I think it's important. And we love all of our NFL teams, and we love all of our NFL players. I mean, it's the greatest game in the world. And you're on the clock, by the way, JD. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm gonna take one of these running backs. I'm not really stoked on them. I don't have a big difference on them in my rankings.
Okay, yeah, I very nearly took ETN right there. It's almost a guarantee, at least until James Robinson comes back, that he's going to get a pretty decent a touch share, and I know a lot of people, a lot of our subscribers at Fantasy Points really like him and are targeting him. So that's a really good pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously hard to feel 100% confident in it, but I feel like the upside's there. We haven't seen him, so there's a chance you're getting a discount on him. And then, of course, the other side of the coin is there's a chance you're overdrafting because we haven't seen anything from him, and there's established guys like Ezekiel Elliott on the board. But in a best ball, I just feel like if it's a redraft, I'd consider. But in best ball, I'm going to swing for the guy with the home run threat, and then T-Law in his second year. I mean, the blow up spot could be there.
Yeah. The way things worked out for Jacksonville last year was unfortunate. A lot of injuries and, dumpster fire. front office type situation. So yeah, it was tough. It was very difficult for Lawrence. I'm all in that he's going to have a much better sophomore campaign.
I would think so. All right. Cam Akers or Brees Hall? Flip coin. I just went with one unproven guy. So I'll go with the
Hey,
slightly more proven Akers.
you went with ETN on the last pick. So the Liz Frank, and then you have the Achilles, and those are probably the two injuries that I'm afraid of the most. But at the same time, there's been a lot of time in between that injury and when So we had an entire. So Cam Akers, he came back early because he was trying to help his team win the Super Bowl. Mission accomplished, right? Well, there's been all that time has passed since the injury. That explosion is going to return. I'm all in. I think Cam Akers is going to have a return to glory as far as his efficiency goes this year.
Yeah, I mean the best ball brain. Again, I play a best ball a fair amount, but not usually NFL. But you try to use that DFS tournament brain a little bit here, where you say, okay, well, ETN and Akers are possibly two guys who, if it plays out, could be, high end RB2, possibly even RB1 with a huge season, and there's a chance you're getting a discount. Of course, the injury could be a concern, right? So I'm just trying to play that. If these two running backs hit, I waited the first 2 rounds on a running back. This gives me a chance to get those two, right?
Absolutely. I love the pick. There's if he drops to me, I'll talk him up like crazy, and I've already written him up like crazy, and I probably already talked him up like crazy. I'm sure I have in some podcasts, and there's I've got a lot of love, and I just it's like if certain players get hurt, I mean my best ball teams are going to be hurting. Oh, and there he went right there, 411. The ADP on Gabriel Davis is, I mean, it's falling through the floor. It's dropping by the day. He's if find me another wide receiver in the NFL in NFL history with his touchdown rate. Find me one, all right, with his number of targets and receptions. At least set that as your floor on your search. Your little baby in the background. Little John, right?
He's going nuts. Yeah, Little John. I think it says dinner time. So,
hey, everyone else, you need to realize it's this is my world, and you need to get over it and get me my food, right? I mean, I envy you, brother. I've got 3 little ones, but just I'd do anything to have each one of them back as a baby for at least a week.
It's the best. He's a little crazy, so he learned to walk pretty early. So we're still at the stage where he's pretty nuts, but nice. It's the best stage. Everything's new to him.
I would have gone Bateman here. That's who I was looking at. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a little aggressive, and I'm going to draft him ahead of his ADP because another one of my guys. Usually if I don't get Gabriel Davis, I make sure I get Amon-Ra St. Brown because this dude can ball, man. And I love it that people are sleeping on him after what he did last year. I love it. And I love it that how well he played after all those NFL teams passed on him in the draft. This dude is a beast.
Yeah, he was at the top of my queue. I know you told me to wait on quarterbacks, but I'm doing my own thing here. So
you're gonna break the seal?
Yeah, I'm breaking it.
Okay. Hey, I love me some Kyler Murray. We have a 22 team Devy league going on, and between the subscribers and the staff at Fantasy Points, and that was my quarterback. So I'll shut up. Could you please go over our promo codes again so everyone is aware? We're moving along pretty quickly here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Underdog Fantasy, the place to do your best balls. Best Ball Mania 3 going on. You could do the Bulldog, you could do the puppy. But Best Ball Mania 3 is going on. That's what we're drafting right here. Your best ball, you're going to use promo code Fantasy PTS. That's fantasy points, Fantasy PTS. That's up to $100 instant deposit match on your first deposit. Also, last day of the college football package here at Fantasy Points, something I'm on deck here. Something we're really excited to bring in. That's I know the running back I'm going to take here, so I'm going to keep talking. It's the last day. We're going to get props to you. We're going to get DFS coverage. Basically, all the good stuff's coming this year at Fantasy Points. You get 30% off if you use that code now. That's CFB22. CFB22.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, we want to definitely show our sponsor the love here because that's why we're here. You know, we're also here to promote our college football product for sure. You know, I haven't gotten enough exposure to Devonta Smith, and I want to make sure I get that. But can you kind of take over here for a minute? I have to run to the restroom. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, I do like the way my team's shaping up here, but do not have a stack and only have one wide receiver. He is Stephon Diggs. Not the worst wide receiver in the world, but it's probably what I'm going to be targeting here. Some of the guys I like to target in this range are already off. He took Amon-Ra St. Brown is normally who I would go for here. And with Kyler Murray being my quarterback, you can probably guess a certain stacking option on my end if we get there. Raiders going this round. I guess round 6 is the round the Raiders got Josh Jacobs and Renfro going. Let's take a look at Wes's team, see how he's shaping up.
Okay. Sorry about that.
You're all good. All right, Wes. So you have your 2 running backs, and you are pretty loaded at wide receiver. How are you feeling so far?
Yeah, you know, like I said, I find myself in this boat in a lot of drafts, you know, because I go after the same guys, and you know, so if one of these guys is going down, you know, it's gonna be difficult because it's not like I'm going around and picking up their handcuffs everywhere. I try to. It's hard, man. It's really hard because a lot of people, you know, they really don't care what you're trying to set up with your roster, you know. So I miss out on a lot of stacks, and then you know I don't get my Alexander Madison because you know I have rounds that I'm looking to draft guys. I'm not going to reach on them. So if you're going to draft them before me, I'm going to let you have them. So I do want to say one thing. If you don't remember, my Twitter handle used to be DFS Biologist, and there's no question who I'm taking here, and it's Mr. Russell Gage. He's going to have a beast here. But yeah, my handle used to be DFS Biologist. So my degree is in biology, and I believe in taking care of our environment and things like that. And I just want to say real quickly, I lost like 10 Twitter follows as soon as I tweeted it out. We just got to stop killing our sharks, man. We really do. That's all I'm going to say. We've got to stop overfishing. It's destroying our oceans. All right, let's move on. That's no fun, I know. And I take the brunt of the consequences with my Twitter follows, and I apologize for that. I know it's about football, so let's get back to it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, don't look at me when you say that, because you know it's been a while since I've gone out there swimming in the ocean with my bare hands killing some sharks. You know, I've put that lifestyle behind me, but I appreciate the call out. Got to stay on the straight and narrow.
No, and you know most of those killings are coming from other countries who they're trying to get those shark fins are valuable to them, and I get it. I'm just trying to bring awareness to as many people as possible, and not a whole lot of people that are in the fantasy industry are even aware the type of danger that we would be in. We wouldn't be able to enter our oceans if we killed off the sharks because of the predators that would emerge that they weed out. So I think I've talked about that a little too much. So let's move on. And one guy I didn't mention was Breece Hall. And sorry if I came across like you mentioned him first, and then I came in and scooped him up. But yeah, that's a guy I'm a big believer on this year. And then if it works out here, I'm going to get my other guy. But the thing about it did. So yeah, I want Kenneth Walker, and I've been trying to get the Kenneth Walker and Rashad Penny stack going, so I cover my bases because I think that Seattle's going to be 100%. Their offense is just going to go through the ground game, and that even if they were to acquire like Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm 100% behind the narrative that they're going to be featuring these two guys in the offense as, probably something above a 50-50 split. So yeah, I want as many shares of Kenneth Walker, who I have to go after first, even though it's likely that Rashad Penny is going to be the starter, but I can get him later. So I've got to get Kenneth Walker first if I'm going to get the stack, but it's just so few drafts where I'm able to get both. It's a little frustrating.
Kenneth Walker, one of those guys, us as, college guys, he was so good at Wake Forest, but it was like part-time role. And then, you don't get a ton of prospects coming from Wake Forest, but anyone who's ever watched the film on him knows that weird system they have where it's so drawn out and they let the play develop, right? Like evaluating players in that system, it's just really hard to do. And then, what he did last year was just incredible. I was so happy for him because you knew the talent was there. You just weren't sure how it was going to translate. 1, in the Big Ten, 2, with that new system, 3, is he going to get the workload he's never had before? And he answered all questions with flying colors. So I'm really anxious to see how he's going to answer these questions at the next level, because I think you might be right. You might answer them emphatically here.
Yeah, definitely. And the two guys I was looking at, I was hoping to get somebody in between my Walker and Penny picks, and one of them was taken. Where is he? 2 picks before me. Oh, you took him, Alan Lazard. Great pick, sir. Great pick. You act like you don't know what you're doing. He's an outstanding pick because Aaron Rodgers has already made it clear. Alan Lazard, he's done all of the dirty work, everything that the Packers have asked of him. And he's the starter. He's the number one now. He said he's earned it. And I don't care what the numbers say. And look at that. Is he gone? Oh, no, he's there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take him just so I reinforce my stack here. I'm going to go with Penny. But yeah, so Aaron Rodgers has made it clear that that's his guy. That's his number one. And when Aaron Rodgers says his number one receiver is Alan Lazard, we need to listen. All right. Whatever the ADP is on Alan Lazard when you're drafting on Underdog or anywhere else, don't listen to it. Go a full round earlier because this guy's going to be peppered. Aaron Rodgers decides who gets the ball in that offense.
All right, I'm going to have to go ahead and stack it here. I've already stacked it, but of course, DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss some time, and who knows what's going on with him. So probably better ways to do the stack, but I took my quarterback early. I feel like I kind of have to stack him, and I have been a Rondale Moore fan for about as long as you can be a Rondale Moore fan. So was that rookie year super encouraging? Not necessarily, but they did make it a point to try to get him the ball, especially those first 6 weeks. I guess the half-point PPR does bum me out a little bit on Rondale, but just one of those guys that I'm just always gonna have a soft spot for.
No, I completely agree. I think where they drafted him, I think they need to get him the ball. What I'd like to see, JD, is I'd like to see him give him the ball on handoffs, because what is he? He's like a glorified running back, right?
Yeah. He's tiny. He's a weight room freak. He's one of the most elusive runners at the college level that you could see. And I think I think that's their creative enough offensive scheme, and I think they need that guy to step up. I'm willing to bet it's Rondale.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
No
I like
idea who to
Rondale.
take here.
Yeah. It gets tough, but you know what? Everyone is in the same boat, so it's tough universally. And after this, though, you won't have a pick for a bit. So why don't you? We can go a couple more rounds. We've already tossed out the promo codes. I just want to show our people some love. Make sure we get that out there. All right. So, a lot of options here. Not really seeing a guy at tight end that really stands out. So I'm going to wait just a little bit longer. I'm looking at wide receiver, not seeing it. 10 seconds. Oh my goodness, am I going to freak out now? I think I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth because I like him a lot. I think he's going to do well this year in that offense because the thing about Kenny Pickett, I'm not really excited about his arm strength, and I think it's going to be to the detriment of Chase Claypool unless they shift Chase to the inside, which is going to open up a whole new world for him up against smaller defenders. But I think that the two guys that are going to benefit from Pickett's presence are Deontay Johnson and Pat Freiermuth. What are your thoughts?
Well, I always have to go back to college. Yeah, Claypool is
college is where it all begins. Don't feel sorry for that because that's where I'm drawing my opinions.
Yeah, we saw him at Notre Dame. I got a chance to watch him against Stanford live when he had a very good game. I believe they ended up losing that, and it cost them their season there right after Thanksgiving. But he's a deep ball guy. He's a jump ball receiver, and I don't understand what we've seen from Kenny Pickett to make us believe that would be a good pairing. So yeah, I think definitely I lean towards you. Deontay is the first one that pops into my mind, but I mean, Pitt uses their tight ends a ton, the system he's from, and now going into the Steelers, I would guess he would funnel more targets down to Freiermuth because one, he's a rookie. He's going to get it out quick. He's not going to sit there and gunsling it 40 yards downfield very often. That's probably not going to be in the game plan very often. So I think I would agree with you.
And there's a lot of talk about Mitchell Trubisky and, how he's going to be the starter and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, but you don't draft a guy in the first round if you're not going to play him at least half the season. So I don't even care what the narratives are. You can pass him along all you want. Kenny Pickett's going to play this year. You can say that about a guy like a Desmond Ridder where they didn't put that type of draft stock into him. So I don't see a scenario where you draft a guy in the first round and you don't play him the first year. It's not like you have Brett Favre, okay, and you're going to sit Aaron Rodgers for a full year. You don't have that. So Mitchell Trubisky, I feel sorry for the guy because, I think he deserves better. I think he deserves a shot to start again. He was really good in college. And by the way, JD, I am completely 100% behind trying to get people to understand that there's a lot of value in high school production. You can pull a lot of information out of what a player does in high school. And one of those is we rarely see a guy outplay his 80 or his highest FPG from high school in college or the NFL. And then here's another guy that I've been getting on lately, and that's Mike Gesicki. I think there's a lot of benefits to Tua Tagovailoa and working with a wide receiver rotation that so much better than it was last year. Yeah, they had Devonta Parker, but he was banged up all year. He was not healthy. He was not the same Devonta Parker that we've seen. So basically, he had Jalen Waddle and a bunch of replacement level players, and we can put Parker in that group because he was banged up. And so anyway, my point is I think we're going to see a lot better out of Tua Tagovailoa, and I think that's gonna trickle down after Tyreek Hill, after Jalen Waddle, and probably prior to Cedric Wilson, and that's where Gesicki, who's basically like a really big, muscular, athletic wide receiver, essentially, because he doesn't block that much. And I think Gesicki's going to have a decent year. And especially, I think he's going to have some big games. And that's what I'm looking for in best ball.
The Tua stuff bothers me so much. And I don't even like consider myself a huge Tua guy, but I think the way people are just knocking him, knocking the pick, knocking the confidence. I mean, there was none of that. And then he got injured, came back, and didn't look anything like the arm talent, right? Like it's gotten significantly worse since he's been injured. But the way people are just knocking it, it's like, it just makes me extremely upset. Like, oh, you knew that injury was going to cause that. You knew exactly that was going to happen. It's, I don't know. It's been frustrating. So I'm rooting for Tua. He's got some really good weapons. I think he's a better quarterback than a lot of people are giving him credit for. So team Tua.
Yeah, absolutely. Great analysis there, by the way. I'm continually impressed. You talk yourself up like you're just a college football guy, but you'd be surprised how much you know about the NFL game just from being an expert at college football. And this is a guy that is still not being drafted appropriately. And I'm going to have to write him up eventually, because we do realize that James Conner cannot carry the load by himself, right? And Darrell Williams is a baller, man. This guy can catch. This guy can score from inside the 5. And he's still being drafted. It's criminal that he's being drafted 20 picks later than the type of player that he is, and in the type of offense where he's essentially, I mean, worst case scenario, he gets a 30% share of the touches. And if James Conner goes down for a game or so, which he does every year, it's going to be the Darrell Williams show.
It's like clockwork. It always goes down.
He just because of the way he's so slow. He's not a fast guy, but he's a power runner, right? But he takes a lot of damage.
By design. Yeah. He's trying to inflict damage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, he's going to need, especially with the added game, it's a longer season. It's a situation where Darrell Williams is just guaranteed to get some touches. So while we're waiting on our next picks to get here, could you go through our promo codes again, sir?
Yeah, I got you. So Underdog Fantasy, new users, sign up. Promo code Fantasy Points. That's Fantasy PTS. You get up to $100 bonus cash with your first deposit. That's at fantasypoints.com/underdog if you want more information on that. One thing I forgot to mention on the last reads, we have a Best Friends Animal Society donation going on. So when you deposit, part of that deposit goes towards that great cause. So if you're on the fence, you're not sure you want to go win some money and play some fantasy football and get some free money on the instant deposit match, then you might as well help make the world a better place, because why would you not do both those same things at the same time? That just sounds silly to me, Wes, to not want to do that. This is the Best Friends Animal Society, man's best friend. Hello.
Absolutely. I love that, JD. So JD, do you have a dog?
I do not right now.
Yeah,
the kid.
I'm not surprised with the kid. Yeah, new baby. I get it. And I have 2 older boys that I don't worry about. They're both athletes. They can both take care of themselves. But I do have a 5-year-old daughter, and she's my sweetie. And I got my wife. She's got a taser. She's got her pepper spray and everything. You can't trust your little girl with those things. So, I did get myself an American Bulldog, and she's a big girl, and you hear her bark, you're not going to want to come in my house, and I kind of like that, because guess what? Her barks, her bite is actually not as intimidating as her bark. She's actually a sweet girl, but her bark is really loud, and I love that. And I think that's important is just keeping my little girl safe. And so here's a guy. And so we don't really know exactly what's going on with Deshaun Watson. I think I've drafted 3 tight ends in a row, but that's okay. So I like to get 4 tight ends by the end of the draft. But yeah, so one thing I would like to add is that the shelter that we mentioned is a non-lethal shelter. So that's the added benefit because I love dogs, man. I'm a big animal lover. It's such a soft place for me. Like we were mentioning sharks. Like I love sharks. I think sharks are beautiful, and yeah, they might bite you every now and then, but you know what? They don't want to eat us. They really don't. So they're really nothing more than big puppies, and in their own right. But yeah, that's probably enough on the animals. But I just want to say that the shelter that we're partnered with is non-lethal, which is important because every dog deserves a home.
Yeah, absolutely. We got the right guy on to talk about that here.
Yeah, it's like I miss my calling, right? I should have stuck with trying to save the environment, but I can't help it, man. I really can't. I'm only gonna live so many years, and it might cost me a few followers, but I'm gonna try to bring some awareness while I'm here. And I'm putting in the work. I'm grinding for you, trying to get trying to find all of the values everywhere in fantasy. But at the same time, I just ask that you just put up with me, just trying to save the environment just a little bit while I'm kicking.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's see. Right now, I've got 5 running backs. And I've got 5 wide receiver. Probably need to go wide receiver here. I'd like to dip into the wide receiver pool.
You're not going another tight end?
Yeah. Oh, I know, man. I'm bad. I like to get me some tight ends. All right. And so here's a guy that I think could have some big games this year. And this will set me up because I'm going to go quarterback really late, and I'll probably be able to get the Steelers situation under control. So I'm going to go some George Pickens. And I know you're a CFF guy, so you know about George Pickens. He was legit one of the top CFF guys right before he tore his ACL, right?
Yeah, that was brutal. I remember that stretch during the last offseason when that happened, and then Jermaine Burton got hurt, and who he has a chance to be a breakout guy at Alabama this year. And it was looking pretty grim. Of course, it's Georgia. They got a bunch of 5 stars behind him, and Burton ended up coming back playing the year, but not really fully healthy. But Pickens was the guy. He was the big name. I was really looking forward to watching him because his personality. By now, everyone's seen the video of him, but he was just that
and Joe
guy.
Does the greatest impression of that video. It's awesome. You got to see Joe do it. We need to put that on another live stream.
I'm guessing he was, since you just drafted him, I'm guessing he's watching the stream in that posture of his, and then reacting similarly. So congratulations. You have to handle that. As long as you're drafting him on your fantasy team, you got to be prepared to handle the personality in the locker room. So are you prepared for that, Wes?
I think personality is important. I think when I think at quarterback, you need a guy that's going to come in and give the team, kind of that level-headed, just kind of a buffer to kind of balance out what's going on with the rest of the personalities. But I think at wide receiver, that's important because you're going up against some elite athletes at cornerback, and I think you have to have that swagger that everyone's looking at me, and I'm still gonna outdo expectations. So I think that's important. At the same time, I'm the kind of guy, I like the Jerry Rice type of approach where you get into the end zone, you don't go crazy. That's why I teach my kids, just hand the ball to the referee, act like you've been there before, even if you hadn't, and just show yourself out to be a class act, and that's kind of the the approach I like, but at the same time, I'm not gonna go crazy if if that's how I think I think Pickens he's got the right type of attitude, especially in that system where he's not he's not the first guy on the totem pole there. So I'm gonna reach a little bit on a guy here. And only because I think Brian Robinson is going to get some touchdowns. This is half PPR. I like the news coming out that Robinson may be the guy in the end zone. I know I'm waiting till the last second. No worry. I'm cool under pressure, and I'm going to go with me some Brian Robinson.
Nice. Let's talk about hard runners there.
Yeah,
that guy is.
I don't love his upright approach. I don't. But at the same time, he's a big dude. He can take a lot of it as long as nobody hits him at that right spot on his knee. So that's kind of what I'm counting on.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll be right back. I'm just going to go grab another beer.
All right, we got some college football stuff in the chat. Let's see what we got here. Quentin wants to know Wes's thoughts on the USC offense. Well, Wes isn't here, but I'll answer that for you. They're going to score about 500,000 points per game.
Who's that?
Quentin wanted to know your thoughts on USC's offense.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Talk about it, man.
Yeah.
That is so the two teams that are going to be coming to the Big Ten, they're USC and UCLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's great. I wonder if Lincoln Riley knew that before he took that job.
I was thinking about that today. I feel like probably. I mean, I don't know if they gave him definites, but they must have had a pretty strong pitch to him. Because, I mean, the Pac-12 hasn't been getting in the college football playoff. And obviously that can change. Cincinnati just got in. Of course, the USC team could get in. And if anyone has not necessarily the star power, but like that brand name, it's still USC. It's Lincoln Riley. But the Big Ten, the way that everything's moving, we probably don't have time to cover it too much, but everything's really going to be the two power conferences, whatever it's going to look like. And Lincoln Riley's not just going to jump ship from one of those power conferences, the SEC, to the Pac-12. Of course, he can run the Pac-12, but I think he probably knew going in that he was going to have a chance to run one of these super conferences. And he didn't think he could run the SEC, probably wisely, if we're going to be honest. And now he has a chance to run what could be the other super conference. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that offense is going to score a ton of points. Their wide receiver rotation is just out of this world. I mean, between Jordan Addison, then we've got, I know this is a guy that's not a massive target in CFF. Okay, so it's round 16. I've got 3 rounds to get my quarterbacks. I haven't taken one yet. First one I'm going to take is Zach Wilson, who I've seen most of the times is around in these last few rounds.
So I would assume.
I'm mentioning though, Brandon Rice, Jerry Rice's son. He's an up and comer guy. I'm all over in CFF and Devi.
He managed to pop in that Colorado offense, and I think he mostly popped 2 years ago in that snow game against Utah. I think he had 2 or 3 touchdowns, but the fact that he managed to pop in that Colorado offense, that, let's be honest, I mean, you could put some players on that field and no one would notice because it's Colorado. But
yeah, and the quarterback situation was trash.
Yeah, they were dead last in a lot of categories for non-option teams. So, I mean, he didn't get his stats aren't going to look great, but you see it there. You see what he could do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of who they brought in are upperclassmen, right? Like they didn't bring in, I mean, I know Mario Williams is, but they brought in a fair amount of upperclassmen and they're all going to play. They're going to be at least 5 deep. You got guys like Kyle Ford back there. I mean, they're deep. They brought in some transfers that are going to play right away.
Yeah, I think it's really set up. Brendan Rice is young. So he's got a couple of years, but like Jordan Addison, he's gone after this year. And then Mario Williams, he'll probably be gone after next year. So I mean, it's really a situation where I think Riley's trying to, obviously trying to win right away, but then he's also trying to build for the future. And man, that Trojans offense is going to be just nasty. I mean, okay, they're going to write books about the offense because Lincoln Riley, he runs an air raid, but at the same time, he runs his own version of the air raid, and that's why everybody wants him, because it's a revolutionary approach to the air raid offense, and you see a lot of people try to copy it, but very few can do that. That with what Lincoln Riley offers. And man, with Caleb Williams running the show, he's not leaving after this year, so he'll probably be gone though in 2 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, we just saw USC try to run one of those quote unquote air raids, modified air raids where you run the ball, right? Why am I blanking on his name? West Virginia guy, Garrett.
Oh yeah, JT Daniels.
Yeah, with JT Daniels and for some reason I'm blanking on the coordinator's name. Graham Harrell.
Yeah,
he ran the ball a ton at North Texas, and for a couple seasons at USC, they tried to run and they just couldn't really do it well. The offensive line was a joke, and a lot of that has to do with the program, right? They just weren't really developing kids, and it went south. But I mean, you get that kind of talent down there that they're getting, and you're able to run the ball too. They brought in a few backs. We'll see if Raleek Brown. I mean, I know he's a small guy, but he's gonna do something pretty. I mean, he's gonna have a lot of kick return touchdowns. He's gonna be used in the slot. I'm really excited to see, because yeah, you're right. They like to pound the ball. They like to be that power style. I'm not sure they're gonna have that power this year with how bad the line's been, but yeah, maybe it's just totally a coaching thing. And Lincoln Riley's. I mean, they have high 4-stars all over the place. So,
well, having a mobile quarterback is going to be is offers them that dimension that you couldn't. It was like when we saw that with Daniels, he didn't have the mobility to work around that. That was I think that was the big problem. But with Williams, he's one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the country. So he reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts. And I know that's a former Lincoln Riley quarterback, but I think that's by design. That's why he went out and recruited him. And he's able to overcome those issues on the O-line and move around and open up passing lanes with his legs. And he doesn't have to scramble on all those moves outside the pocket. So. Caleb Williams, and by the way, if you don't know who he is, he's gonna be a top 5 pick in the NFL. Probably, we need to see a little bit more, but probably the first overall pick in the 2024 draft. But we'll see.
Yeah, man, these running backs thin out.
They do. Oh, I warned you. That's why I go heavy running back. So on the clock here, I thought about doing the Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky thing, but I've got a quarterback here that's he's gonna be the starter all year, and I'm gonna go Carson Wentz instead. It's okay. These drafts go quick. Got my 3 quarterbacks. I'm happy, and I don't have to have the studliest of quarterbacks. What I'm focused on is wide receiver. I usually try to get 4 tight ends, but had to add me some Pickens there. I don't have as many shares of him as much. But what about you? How are you feeling about your team?
I'm feeling all right. I mean, like I said, I don't do a ton of these, so this was a little bit of a learning experience. I was extremely pleased through the first 7 rounds, which I think is a good sign. I kind of thought I was going to be outgamed. I guess the one thing is going quarterback early. So what I tried to do is get the quarterback and tight end early, and then just load up running back, wide receiver for the next 10 rounds. Yeah. And overall, I think I'm a fan of that game plan, but it's just really hard to like your team when you do that, because your running backs, like you said, I'm going to be relying on 2 guys coming back from injury, and then the depth's not great. So
yeah, it's hard. Running back goes quick. People want their running backs in a half PPR.
Yeah. I think I like my strategy overall, but I think maybe trying to wait another round on, I don't know.
Yeah.
On the quarterback and trying to really get a stud running back and trying a similar one. Because if I just had one stud running back, then I can take a pick here. I can take a pick there on the other positions. But when you don't have that guy, it's just hard to. You're always gonna feel like you're chasing. So I know that's a popular strategy. It's usually not for me. I figured I'd try to do it for the best ball, but if you got to have your targets, basically is what I'm saying. If you have your targets in the middle round, you're super confident in, but like you said, a lot of times it's just not there. So if there's no one to circle, then it can't be a viable strategy unless you really have your targets.
Yeah, it's true. And, I recommend that you just do some of the 8 hours per pick best balls in the background, and you can learn a lot and figure out what your best strategy is. But it's been great, JD. I appreciate your time, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Later.